Alright, y'all. Darkness. Coming at you from a bit of a dark background, you see. Because it's the evening here. It's the evening time. We're going to jump into some Blindfold rapid games. And I hope you enjoy them. We had some good fun games earlier. If you're enthusiastic about chess, and you love the game, join me on this Blindfold journey. What's that? E4 knight c6, like the Nimzowitsch or something. I can't see the pieces, right? I can see the board at the bottom. This just transposes to an e4, e5, I think. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this journey into the Blindfold turf. Now, I've got a commentator who sometimes says things like inaccuracy, and I just wanted to check that the commentator was on board. Okay, great. So this is a standard Italian. Playing tomorrow, 1566. Queen f6. You know, I'm going to say that this... questionable. Doesn't look right to me. Why not? Let's have a minute to think. I think we'd just... Yeah, okay, we can't play knight c3, knight d5, which we'd like to. We can't yet play bishop g5, which we'd like to. And if we play d4, they go ed, but there I think we've got e5. So that's what we're going to go for. Okay, now e5. I mean... no, an e5 they can actually capture. Okay, now d4... Okay, I guess that was a reason they played this. I think we should just play it gambit style. Right? I think we should just play it gambit style. No threat made. We just gambit at a pawn. Quite happy to take with the knight in c3 threatening knight d5. h6. Now that can't be right. So here we've got e5. And I think that's a clear way to get the pawn back. If we take on d4, you know, they've got 3 attacks there and we've only got 2 defenses. So that's not going to work. So e5. The idea is knight e5, queen e5, rook e1, pinning the queen to the king, which I'm sure a player of tomorrow's standard will understand. Okay, queen goes back to e7. Okay, and now we can take on d4 with an attack on the bishop. A tempo. Okay, the bishop goes to b4. I mean, we can just keep kicking this bishop around. We could play knight c3. We could play bishop g5. I like bishop c5. g5, sorry. Continue hitting this queen. f6, surely not. Takes, knight takes, rook e1. Okay, so that's why a3 is probably a good move first. I mean, why not play a3? I think is a question. And I don't have an answer for that. Our opponent left the game. They left the game. Spoiler alert, just lost the game. Now my goal, my fair viewers, is to reach 1800 in blindfold mode in rapid chess. Bishop a5. Now we've got b4. We get the bishop off that diagonal. Rook e1 becomes a possibility, and therefore bishop g5. There's no f6. Oh, surely there can't be an f6. It just looks like you're getting battered as black here. Bishop e6, and at bishop g5, we definitely got a knight in f3. Yes, we want to play knight c3 as well, but knight c3 looks even stronger. But all right, it's a choice between knight c3 and bishop g5. Where does the queen actually go on bishop g5? Not to e5. It can't go anywhere. I have to go to e6. Nope, not to e6. I have to go back to f8, I think. Or you play f6. But then we capture. Pawn captures and there's rook e1. Okay, sorry, there's... yeah. Did we... So how did it work? They took on d4, we advanced, and then we captured back. So the pawn structure is... Let's just make sure we understand. Before we start doing things, what's the pawn structure? It's this, isn't it? Bishop, knight, queen. And we've got bishop, knight, rook developed. Yeah, okay, so bishop this forces queen f8, and that's such a sad move. Very, very sad move. Alright, well, game one has started well. Very confident that this is going to be converted. Even though we're 2.5 minutes down, but I mean, this position just looks like it's collapsing. What do we... Oh. Every time. Gotta stop making these blunders. There was a pawn on h6. I mean, h6 was such an unexpected move. That's why I didn't consider it. What? King e8. Okay, I'm just going to go and play knight d5. So, we've made an absolute hash of that. We're a piece down. So what can we do? Hang on. They've just hung a piece, given us a piece back. Knight takes b6. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back in the game. Queen h6. What's that all about? Oh, they're threatening mate over here. Clever. Okay, they didn't give us a piece back. Exactly. How do we defend that? They're going to take our knight. We've got a nice centre. Can't play bishop f4. No, we've got a knight on f3. We have a knight on f3, there's no mate. So we should take the c8 bishop, I believe. Or drop back to d5. Okay, we've got good chances here. We slipped up, but we got back into this game with a tactic. And we've got good chances. So what is the pawn structure? It's this, 7 versus 7. Let's get that in a different colour for you guys. Knight. We've got a knight. We've got a bishop. They've got a knight. Queen, rook. King d8. That's such a weird move. Right, the bishop's got no chance of coming out. So what should we do with that knight? We could go back to d5. Or we could just capture the bishop. And then take on f7. Play queen b3. What are the minor? I think these are the only minor pieces involved. And this, 3 minor pieces. So have they not got 3 minor? They must have a minor piece somewhere. They've still got a knight on b8. Wow. Of course they have. Because they play queen f6. Okay. Alright, so queen b3 would actually... Let's go for the pawn. With bishop takes f7. g4. I mean, surely not. Right, that's their way of getting the piece back. Okay, I can understand that. Okay, missed that. Alright, so how do we... We're not right back in this game. h6. They take us, we take them. they go rook takes, and then we've got queen f7. And it looks like, you know, we want another pawn back. If they take the pawn, we just go here. They take us, and we... Hang on, we need to save both. We need to save one piece in order to... in order to not be a piece down, right? Wow. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and play that because I can't see a way to extricate the c8 knight. The c4 bishop looking alright. If they take this, we can take back with the queen. They're going to take us, and at least we'll get a second pawn back. And their king is going to remain in the center of the board. So we might have chances. So queen f3. Now I'm expecting rook takes somehow. Alright, we've got no many pieces. We've just got queen and two rooks. King takes played. Oh no, sorry, that's not true. We've got the bishop. Have they got a d7 pawn? I think they have. Okay. I think the move to play is queen f7. I think that actually threatens a checkmate. So the natural antidote to that would be knight h6 or knight f6. Knight f6 we just capture. Hey. Hey. Okay. This looks extremely suspicious. And I think this is game over, you know? I think g6.
Blunder.
I think it is. That's right, y'all. Bishop a6 check, forcing king b8. Queen d8, check. Knight c8, queen takes c8 is a checkmate. GG all. I don't think they played an h6. a6, sorry. That would be the only potential problem. Knight c6, knight b8, right. Gotta do it. If they play king b8, we're on fire. Ah, whatever you do, don't go queen d8. Oof. We have to go queen. We can't go to queen d8 because our queen's on f7, but we can go queen e8. Pretty sure they got a knight over here, right? Still on b8. Oh, they actually played king d8. Okay, but this is mate as well. Queen f8. G-pawn. I think they've still got a G-pawn. Right? I think there's a pawn here. Tension. Tense times. Tense moments. Tense game. Let's think it through. We landed our bishop on g5 and they captured it, and then they played a g4. They never subsequently moved the g-pawn. I think queen f8's mate. Knight here, rook here, queen here. And their pawn structure looking like this. Yeah, let's do it. There we go. All right, happy days. Let's get someone new on the stream. Whoa, gotta get the splash screen up when we do that. Streaming professionalism. Discuss. All right, here we go. Hammer up. E4, E5. Standard king spawn openings. All you're gonna see at this level. But they are instructive. Okay, we're looking at a bishop c4. That's the Italian. Or to b5 would be the Spanish. Knight c3 playable. You can play d4, I guess, for the Scotch. Knight c3, so we're going to a 4 knights thing. The big thing to know here is that bishop c4 is a mistake. It's an inaccuracy. It's a questionable move, I would say. d3, that's a move that I'm not aware of. The problem with this move...
Questionable.
...is it blocks in the bishop. Perhaps the idea is to play g3 and put the bishop on g2. Perhaps that's the idea. At any rate, I think we should just continue with natural development. Try to castle kingside and think about what to do with this light square bishop. Which, if they do indeed play g3, we'll find a nice home on g4. Or on f5. Not on f5, huh? Okay. Probably bishop g4 was a move there. Okay, so they... That's interesting. Do we go queen e7 to protect our bishop? Do we trade bishops? I don't think we trade bishops. I think we should just go queen e7. Right, so we can trade the bishop back. Kind of claim that we've got a development advantage. Right, our opponent has made a pawn move, d3, and we had the chance to develop a piece. And now they've attacked that piece, and we've protected it with another piece. So we're maintaining our development advantage. But hang on, this looks wrong. Okay, why is that not wrong? I guess I got 1, 2, 3. And we've got 1, 2, 3. Right, so if we take, they can just capture. I guess the problem is that the queen and knight both look at e4 at the end of that line. Right, so after capturing on d4, that's a discovery. Discovering a second attack, excuse me, in this fashion on d5. Now I'm expecting probably knight takes. Yeah, okay. Now that threatens this, which does threaten our queen, and after we take back, it's going to force a trade. Meaning that knight takes e4 is probably not good because it will leave our knight under attack. So we have to think quite carefully about this combination. Oh my word, there's some tricks though. Knight takes e4, knight takes c6, knight takes c3 with a discovered check. They'll play knight takes e7, we'll play knight takes d1. And resulting position actually... Our bishop is hanging, which they can capture defending their knight, so I don't think that works. However, if we take first with a knight, they collect with the bishop, then we play knight takes e4. There's no bishop c5 because knight takes c3 is a discovered check, winning the queen. So if we eliminate their knight first, I think we've got a good position. Bishop takes is forced. Knight takes e4. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's winning. I mean, okay, it's only won a pawn. They can castle there, I guess. They can castle there. Then we trade. They got rook e1. Wow. We take their queen. They take our queen. We take back, and then they take our c5 bishop at the end of the line. That's a long line. Okay, if they castle, we can just take their bishop. Queen takes. Knight c3. Nah, we can't do that. Oh, and there's knight e2 check, wins the queen. That's such a good line. Okay, so the line that I think might just occur. Bishop takes knight. Bishop takes bishop. Knight takes e4. Castles. Bishop... Oh, hang on. Yeah, knight takes knight. Bishop takes knight. Knight takes pawn. Castles. Knight takes c3. No, sorry. Bishop takes d4 first, then queen d4, then knight takes c3. Rook e1. Knight e2. Check. Rook takes e2. Queen takes g7. And I still think we've won a piece. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that on the board. Pawn structure. Let's not forget what's going on. I think it's like... Isn't it like this? How did we get into this? Yeah. Maybe we've still got the D pawn, actually. I think we've still got our D pawn. I think so. Okay, I'm going to go right ahead and play knight takes. If they take our bishop, we can win the queen. So my thoughts were they castle. We take on... Oh, shit. Yeah, then we take the bishop. Because the line will actually go like this. Then they'll take back with the queen. We have time to castle. And there's no longer... Yeah, we get off the e-file. Get our king off the e-file. Mental. Knight takes... Oh, that's a move that I just didn't see and completely did not consider. Okay, we have to go... Queen takes e4. Probably the bishop goes back to e3. But now we just win a pawn. Maybe we can just take that bishop. Fe. Queen takes e3. Check. Probably queen e2, and I think we just won 2 pawns out of that. Both knights came off the board. Where did the light square bishop go? There's still a light square bishop. Okay, bishop e2. Good, but you can't castle now. Alright, excellent. D5 will be an interesting move. Queen takes d5 and then just bishop here. Just chop everything. Or we just castle, threaten rook e1. Or d6 would be a good move, I think. I think the pawn structure for us is just like this, and for them, it's actually like that. Okay. d5, queen takes d5, bishop g4. There are checks in that position, so... I think we should castle, right? And the reason is in order to bring a rook to e8 as quickly as possible. So that if a trade of queen is offered via queen d3, we can play rook e1. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't think we should have any trouble converting this one, but I've said that before, haven't I? And we had trouble. Rook f1. Okay, I caught a glimpse of the position there, which is a little bit unfortunate. I see what's going to occur. d5, queen takes, bishop g4, some sort of rook move. Is there any need to give that away? mean, there isn't any need at all. At all. So let's not bother. D6. Now then, if rook f3, we just go to g1 with a check and we keep the initiative. Okay. Queen g1 check, probably king d2. Queen takes g2. Well, there is bishop f1, but then we just got rook e8 for free. We also got queen h2. King d2 played. Okay, now we can take here, which pins the bishop again, and I think is pretty annoying. I think it's pretty annoying, so I'm going to do that. And why not just gobble? We're threatening bishop g4 to just trade everything. Well, not everything, but trade light square bishops and maybe queen as well. Just don't lose sight of the pawns. Alright, so where are they? They're here. And we've done a very nice thing, which is keep our pawn on d6. The threat is bishop g4. And I guess they gotta go something like rook d1 and get their king to c1. They go h3. Okay, we can actually just play bishop takes h3. There's no problem with that, I don't think. And again, just pick up a pawn and still threaten bishop g4. So that was one of those where there's a threat on the board, and the move that you play looks like it prevents the threat, but unfortunately it doesn't. Your opponent just captures with the same threat. Calculation. We should be training our calculation through these blindfold games. Which captures are in the position? That's a capture, that's a capture. I think that's it. Okay, the pawn went to a4. I mean, e2 bishop's pinned, so it can actually cause, I think, a big problem just by playing rook e. Yeah, I think we can just... rook e8. It's going to pin the... He's going to put another attack onto the e2 bishop, which is pinned to the d2 king. I guess it doesn't actively need to be defended. Maybe bishop g4 is just a smarter move. That will force rook e3. Yeah, so I'd rather get the rook here. So that rook e3, we can actually play king e3. King... Yeah, rook e3, king e3, and put the other rook on e8. Just don't forget where everything is. Our opponent's trying to flag us, but in this position I don't think they've got any chance of us flagging. At least, that's what I think. I think we might see a resignation. Okay, pawns. Nope, there's no pawn there anymore, so there's just 3. We've got 7, so we're 4 pawns up. They've got bishop e2. Let's just put there as it red. Bishop e2, queen e1, oh, rook h3. Rook a3, sorry. Rook f3. We've got bishop h3, queen g2, rook e8. What's the threat? The threat's rook takes h3. Bishop g4. They'll play rook e3. I actually think we can play bishop takes. Queen takes, king takes, rook takes. And just follow up with king f8. And everything's hunky-dory. So, that's my understanding. Bishop g4. I'm expecting rook e3 to be played. Okay, on bishop takes, probably... I think queen takes is forced. I think we just trade everything off, like, why not? Rook takes e8 is a pre-move. I don't think it matters whether they play queen takes e2 or rook takes e2. We will trade queens. And we will trade rooks. That wasn't forced, they could have taken with the king. Which was probably better, because now we get our rook to the e-file with a check. But there's absolutely no problems in this position. Okay, let's just improve the king, and eventually let's get the pawn to c6 and d5. Okay, the threat is, well, it's not even a threat, but b5. Then they'll want to capture back, so maybe we just preemptively play rook e6. So that if they do push b5, we just don't have to react. And then we can carry on with whatever else we want to do. That's namely d5, king g7, h5, h6, and so on. h5, g5, f5, king f6. Just push these three connected passed pawns down the opponent's throat. Now then, I think that move is king d4. Pretty sure it's king d4. Yep. b5, yep, and we figured out that we just don't need to react to this because we've got d5. It doesn't matter if the king gets in, I mean, nothing's going to happen. Do they have a c pawn? I think they do, don't they? I think they have a c2 pawn, yes. This is their... Where is their rook? That's a good question. I think it's on c3. Because it was on a3, right? I think it came to c3. Yeah, okay. That's why we went this way. Do we take with the rook? I don't think so. I think we want to keep our d5 pawn protected. Okay, so their king is here. The rook moves to b3. Okay, sort of makes sense. I mean, but this is just going to be way too slow, I think. Okay, so they want to take... No, it's just too slow. Even if they advance this. There's no worry in this position, is there? It's kind of hilarious that we have to even continue with three passed pawns on the queen's side, king's side. Sorry, we had the black pieces. If they do go a6, I might even favor c5 check. Pick up that pawn. And gambit this pawn just to protect our a pawn, and you know, protect against this becoming a threat, the a5 pawn, and its promotion. All right, so a rook has landed on h3. So the natural antidote to that is to protect our a4. h4. The rook landed on h3. Protect the h4 pawn here with g5. Play f5, f4, and so on. That's c2, c3. Yep. f5. Okay, should we protect that with the king? I think we shall. King g6. Now we want g4. Our rook is on e6. We've got lovely, lovely situation. I think that's our pawn structure. And there's, oh, that's one, and here's another. I'm just going to capture that. King takes. I'm going to attack the rook, which is sitting on f3. Okay, now I think we can just trade rooks and this game's over. Where does the king move to? And it's a resignation. Yeah, not a bad game. Not a bad game. Okay, I'm gonna call it there. Not a bad couple of games. So.